Good evening, good morning, good day, everyone. This is Dr. Juan Aviles. I am here today to talk to you about which is the best DNA test that may be for you. In other words, I'm answering the question of the title of this PowerPoint slide: which DNA test is right for me? All right. There are five different commercial DNA companies that are quite popular. There are other ones, but generally, these five that I will be discussing today are the most common and usually the least expensive. So, the most common ones are Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, Family Tree DNA, Living DNA, and MyHeritage DNA. So, the first question we might ask ourselves: what is DNA? What is the whole big deal? Well, DNA is a big deal. It's the building block of our who we are, the blueprint of who we are. So, DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay? And if you look at this strand of DNA, it's in what we call a double helix. You see one string over here connected to another string over here, and in the middle are what we would call the nucleotide base pairs. So you will see, like, for example, A represented, which is actually adenine, and it connects to T, which is thymine, and then you'll have C and G. G standing for guanine and C standing for cytosine. Enough about the structure of DNA. Let's move to the next slide, which answers the following question: where is DNA found? That's a very good question. Now, are you ready to delve into high school biology? I actually taught high school biology for 4 years, so this is a little of my forte. I just want to bring to your attention that on the bottom of each slide, I list where I obtained the picture, so I'm not violating copyrights and I'm giving proper credit for where I obtained the picture from. All right, everyone. We are getting our DNA from cells, okay? What is a cell? Well, this structure over here is the smallest part of you that is alive, okay? So all living things are made up of a cell. Cells are the smallest living building block that is considered alive. And simply put, you find your DNA in our cells. When you test your DNA, the companies are actually collecting cells to obtain the DNA from. Okay, when you could get a cheek swab, which is usually through Family Tree DNA and 23andMe, or excuse me, Living DNA and Family Tree DNA do the cheek swab. Then the saliva sample, in other words, you spit into a tube, is found in Ancestry, and I believe the other one would be MyHeritage and Family Tree DNA. Correct? I might be mistaken. I'll get to that in a moment. So, where in the cell is DNA found? That is a good question. It is found in the nucleus. So this is the nucleus. We take that out to further emphasize right here. This is the nucleus, the green part. And then further inside the nucleus, where this red circle is the nucleolus. And that's where all the DNA is concentrated. So inside the nucleus, we find a structure called the chromosome. If you notice, it looks like an X. And the chromosome is, if you look at it, we'll go into it more detailed, is actually your DNA tightly wound up together like a yarn, but not a ball, but an X. So here is our DNA. Again, remember I told you about the double helix and the different base pairs. It just keeps repeating and repeating for a numerous amount of long strands of DNA. So here is another picture of the Chromosome, actually, there are 22 pairs of the chromosome that we call autosomal, and then there's another pair, the 23rd pair, which are called the sex chromosomes, which I'll get into further in a moment. Now, if you look at this arrow number 2, it's pointing to a structure over here called the centromere, and that structure sort of keeps the pair of chromosomes together. You're actually looking at 2 chromosomes that are bound together. It looks like an X, but actually the chromosome is a single strand over here. But when they're inside the cell, you find them bound together. And I'll get into that in a moment. So here we go again. The 23 pairs of chromosomes. 22 of them, all these right here, these, except for this one over here is a different one. But all these 22 pairs are tested through Ancestry and MyHeritage. They only test the autosomal DNA. Now, 23andMe and living DNA do the autosomal also, but they also include the sex chromosomes. So they offer a little bit more, and for just a nominal fee, a little bit higher than what Ancestry and MyHeritage charge. Okay, now you might ask, is this a male or a female? Now, the sex chromosomes determines the sex of the person. Now, if you look at it, this is a longer segment. This is the X, and this is small piece over here is the Y. It's missing a piece, and this chromosome is actually for a male, not a female. So if it was a female, you see 2 X chromosomes. If it's a male, you see an X and a Y. That's the difference, and that's important when you consider doing different genetic testing. All right, so here's Ancestry DNA, and what they do is they show you colored circles of populations where your ancestors are coming from. So here we have Africa, we'll have North Africa, and we have Western Africa and different tribal regions. You'll see Eastern Europe, you'll see the Iberia Peninsula, Spain and Portugal, and you'll see part France, and you see also Eastern or European Jewish populations annotated in the results that you get from Ancestry. And I just want to emphasize that there's going to be a percentage. Let me go to the next slide. There's going to be a percentage that talks about how much of your family is from that area. Okay, so here is a family tree, and I just want to emphasize how many ancestors you'll have. Okay, so if you go one generation, this is you go back one generation, you have 2 parents. Okay, you go back a higher generation, which is 2 generations above you, and you'll have 4 grandparents. You go another generation, 3 generations from you, and you have 8 great grandparents. Go up another generation, and that is your great grandparents. You'll have 16 of them. This is 4 generations from you. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you go up to 4 generations, you already have 16 family members. Okay, and then you go up another generation. So this is 5. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 generations up above you, and you already have 32 family members just alone. This is 32. This is 16. This will be 8, and this will be 4, and then 2. So that already there's a lot of family members, and these genetic tests just tell you how much of these family members are from a certain part of the world. Going back to my ancestry results. So again, see, this is my name, Juan Ramon Aviles Morales. Very long name. This is my breakdown according to Ancestry. So I have 30% Portuguese, and I'll get into a bigger picture. Don't squint too much. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So here it is. Here is my breakdown, genetic or should I say ethnic breakdown according to my family history. You'll see 30% from Portugal, 27 from Spain, 11% from Puerto Rico, go Borican, and here is from my West African, 6%, and so on and so on. And I'll get more into this on another video when we discuss different ethnicities. I'll get more into that. But today I'm going to focus more on Native American ancestry. So here we go. My heritage, also, what I did was I took the DNA data from Ancestry. I downloaded it into a file. It's called your raw DNA file. And I was able to migrate or upload that result from Ancestry into my heritage, which is another competitor. And they came up with a number, and I'll show you in a moment. So if you are going to do genetic testing, Ancestry does not share, or rather, let me take that back. Ancestry does not allow other people or other companies to upload results from them onto their website. So if you want Ancestry to be on Ancestry, you have to buy a kit from Ancestry. Now, my heritage, in order to increase the number of people who test, allows you to put your results from Ancestry, from other companies, onto their site. So what I did was I purchased a test kit from Ancestry, and I downloaded it into my heritage, Living DNA, and that's 3 of them. And there was another one, 23andMe, I could not do, and I had to use my cousin's results because I refused to pay another $90 for something I already know. And that's most of them. So, and you will see that, let me go to the next slide, excuse me. Here we go. Here are my results. A little bit different. And the major difference you will see is my Native American heritage. For my heritage, they had me listed at 22%, 23 really. And they're not very specific. And I'll go into that later. But Ancestry has me listed as 15. I'll get more into this in a moment. So another testing company is Family Tree DNA. They also accept your results from another company, but they sometimes charge you, I think it's $19, which is well worth it. So the results from Family Tree also does autosomal, which is the basic package, and then it offers more advanced testing. It allows you to do Y chromosome testing, which is for males only, and then it does mitochondrial DNA testing. The mitochondrial DNA testing is the best for Family Tree DNA, but you have to give another sample for that, unless you did the autosomal itself with them. Generally speaking, I only recommend people do mitochondrial DNA testing with Family Tree DNA, and that's about it. Now, the Y chromosome testing that they offer, they have different classes. They have the Y32, I'm not sure of the exact numbers, on Y64, and then Y111. I did testing on the Y111, and the results I got from Family Tree DNA were nowhere near as the results I got from 23andMe and Living DNA. The Living DNA and 23andMe, the results of the Y chromosome testing, the simple test for almost $100, was more detailed than the $200 I paid for the Y111. So watch out for that trap. All right, so here is my breakdown according to Family Tree DNA, and what I did was I uploaded my my Family Tree DNA results onto this website, and I paid the $19. I think it was worth it. So the next company is 23andMe. 23andMe offers Y chromosome testing. It's very basic, but it's very good. You get more bang for your buck with this one. So if you're just looking for your paternal line and your maternal line, if you're a male for the paternal line, meaning the Y chromosome testing, 23andMe is the best value for your buck. Now, if you want to look at your indigenous, how much you are, then 23andMe is not the best choice. So you see here they have a good breakdown for Africa also. Native American, 13.6%, but it doesn't tell you if you're from the Caribbean, if you're Andean, or if you're North American. That's one of the weaknesses. That's one of the weaknesses of 23andMe. So, for example, over here, it tells you North African. It doesn't really break that down. Over here, Native American, 11.8, like I said before. And then it goes in East Asian and Native American, which there is some room for this. There is some accuracy in this, but overall, they could break it down more. So let's go to the next one. Okay, Living DNA. This is a European testing company. Here are my results, and this one too I was able to upload my results on. I went and actually tested my son first, and I paid for the money for that, for him to be tested. And since we share a Y chromosome, I didn't have to go and buy another kit to test myself. So I got his Y chromosome, or my Y chromosome, tested through him. Now, my son also had given me the results of my wife's mitochondrial DNA. So that was very helpful. So if you have done Ancestry and you want to do Y chromosome testing, you could plan it out and test one of your kids and then get the results of mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosome testing. I know it's a little confusing, but backing up a little bit, the autosomal testing they offer from your results from Ancestry is free. So they want more people to bring their DNA to their platform, to their company. So they allow you to transfer that information for free. Let's go to the next slide. So here's my results. So it breaks down nice, European. It's very specific. I actually like this result. And if you're looking for your European background, Living DNA probably has an advantage on that. And it also goes into, since Europe is close to Africa, it breaks down Africa a little bit more specifically. Look at this, Benin and Mandika. At one point, Ancestry said Mandika, and then it took it away. I don't know. And this is new to me. North Sudan, which is great. I didn't even know I had that. I learned that today. Mesoamerican. That's a weak point. And actually, I'll get into it more. The Living DNA doesn't care too much looking further in the Caribbean or South America, and I will discuss that at the end of this PowerPoint. So if we compare Native American results, we're comparing apples to apples now. My heritage says I'm 22.6% Native American, okay? Family tree DNA estimated 14%. 23andMe said I was 13.6%. Living DNA, 12.8%. Ancestry total, 15%. But look at this. Look how beautiful this is. It breaks it down. Indigenous Puerto Rico, Indigenous Eastern South America, Indigenous Haiti and Dominican Republic, and Indigenous Americas. So if you're looking for your Native American results, actually Ancestry is the better choice because it gives you more of a breakdown. The others just lumped us into Mesoamerican. Wah, wah, wah. Not very helpful. So next slide. And overall, the difference is just maybe 1 or 2%. And that's overall. And there are some minor differences, but it's not a lot. Okay. Why do I not recommend Living DNA? First, I sent them an email. I told them I'm doing a study. I wanted to buy 100 test kits, and I wanted to see if we could increase the population of the testers from the Caribbean so they could differentiate. And it was a great offer. You know, I was willing to pay not the full price, but I was asking for a discount. And this is their response. Pretty much, they said we're really focusing on Europe and North America. Yeah, the last time I checked, I think the Caribbean was in North America. But anyway, they made it very clear they were not interested in South America and Central America and the Caribbean. So that was very disappointing. And hence, if you want to do Native American and overall, if you had to choose, I think 23andMe is a better option. I used to in the past recommend Living DNA, but they have no plans whatsoever to open up and make their results from Mesoamerica more specific. Now,